Hi, everybody. Welcome to our fifth and final Problems of Practice Roundtable today, hosted by Library Makers. Just a quick reminder, Library Makers, we're a community that connects and supports library makers and staff from all levels of experience. And we recognize the experiences and strengths that each member brings to the community. We want to create a safe and welcoming space for library maker staff to ask questions and share knowledge. And we want to equip and advance library professionals to be innovative leaders of the field. If you have not joined Library Makers as of yet, you can always sign up for free online at librarymakers.org. So we're going to go ahead and get started here with our problems of practice. Guiding our session today is going to be Jack Schultz from Chicago, Illinois, and Natasha Payne Brunson from Henrico, Virginia, and Miss Marnie from Skokie, Illinois. So I'm going to let you guys take it away.
Go ahead. Slide, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Oh, you want me to get the
Oh,
slide? Sorry.
sorry. No, that's
Okay,
right.
so whoever wants to
Thank you.
start, go ahead and start then.
So, with these roundtables, we're looking at some of our problems of practice. We're going to discuss them today, go over some strategies and ideas that we all have that we would like to share. So this roundtable series is going to be part of research that we're doing for IMLS grant that we are funded with. The long term is we're looking to do a short publication with some practical advice for the libraries. And then we'll also be hosting a poster session at ALA this summer. But what we're looking for is your wisdom and insight and all of your great knowledge that you've gained through doing things in makerspaces. And today we want to have you guys speak up and tell us the things that you know and share them out. And then next slide, if you would. So how this is going to go is I'm going to do a short introduction for this. We'll have two breakout sessions. Each one's going to have 3 rooms you can go into with different topics and some questions we're going to ask just to kind of guide the conversation. We'll come back in. One person hopefully will speak up for the group and talk a little bit about what was discussed in that group session. And then in the end, we'll do a little wrap up and then we will thank you for your time because we appreciate you guys being here. So part of this is we have a couple of guidelines for you. So we want you guys to be active listeners today and to share your knowledge from all of your experience. Be sure to be respectful of everyone, give them a chance to talk, and then go ahead and listen with that. Have your camera on if you can. We realize some of you may be at the desk today participating, so if you want to just chat, that's fine. It's just if we have the cameras on, it's best because it's great to see eye to eye with people we're talking to. Also, just kind of being open to new ideas and encourage people to speak up. So if someone thinks they might have something to say, please kind of encourage them to do so. And that said, please use the raise your hand tool at the bottom of the screen to go ahead and speak. We'll call on you, and that'll probably be the best way if just make sure everyone gets a chance. And then last thing is just a reminder that we're recording these sessions so that way we can use basically our recordings to write up some of the problems of practice guidelines that we will come up with. So just to know that you're being recorded. You want to go into the next one? All right. So what we have is just a couple of problems of practice written here that we've gone over. We've had some previous sessions which dealt with outreach and engagement, making the case accessible and welcoming. And then we had one on sustainability and future readiness. So today, our problem number 5 we're dealing with is staff growth and empowerment. All right, so what we're talking about is investing in our staff. So that's through recruitment, comprehensive training, ongoing professional development and empowerment, and basically a knowledgeable and confident workforce ready to meet the changing community needs of our advancing technologies. So this problem centers on the challenge of cultivating a well-prepared and empowered workforce. capable of delivering diverse learning experiences within maker spaces and maker programs. And this can also dealing with all different age groups. So please speak up if you deal with different ages. Many libraries struggle to recruit or retain staff with the necessary skills and often lack comprehensive training pathways. So that support development across all career stages. So without robust options, including on-the-job training, formal education, workspaces, conferences, and communities of practice, staff may not have the sustained support needed to build confidence, deepen the expertise, or effectively meet the evolving community needs and advancing technologies. So that's everything we're kind of dealing with today. Um, so our first round here, you get to choose your topic. If you want to look at the questions while I'm reading off the topic names, you can kind of see what questions you'll be asked and what you'll be talking about. But room one will be defining staff learning in makerspaces. Room two will be talking about training structures and learning pathways. And then room number three will be focusing on skill development, confidence, and on-the-job practice. So in a moment here, we're going to put up the three rooms. And if you want to go ahead and choose what room you're going to go into, we'll meet you there. And then we'll start a discussion.
Everyone should be back from their rooms by now, hopefully. So I guess if room one wants to get started on their questions and what you guys talked about.
Sure, I can do that. We talked a little bit about how we're trying to determine the skills that staff need to be able to effectively create community creative interest, and that everybody's a little bit different. Some people have dedicated spaces or dedicated staff. Some people don't have dedicated spaces and dedicated staff. Some people were at public community college with a makerspace, so their staff are half librarians, half technicians. And so trying to combine those skills to figure out what the training that everybody needs is and what that looks like. What does it look like after combining personal interests and making sure they have off desk time and on desk time and things like that. But thinking about every space is a little bit different to talk about how they're defining staff learning and professional development.
Excellent. Thank you, Marty. For room two, did we have a spokesperson to say a little about what happened in that room or was discussed?
I'll do my best. There was a lot of discussion. So we talked about some people have on-the-job training where they're learning different equipment and getting comfortable on all the machines before they begin helping people. That's only a couple weeks. Then we have also other maker spaces that do on-the-job training, and there's not necessarily structured. They do shadowing because the machines are versatile. It's not just one project they're learning, it's multiple. But we also have someone who created a binder to teach their staff how to use each piece of equipment. And they're given a box when they're employed, and until they're actually comfortable, they aren't helping other patrons. And one thing that was big was share your resources. If you have handouts or something that works on your equipment, share it with someone else. Don't be afraid. So, and make it exciting and different ways for people to learn, because not everybody learns the same way. I think that's about the gist of it.
That sounds excellent. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
And then for room three, Rachel, if you're available to.
Yes. So for room three, the first question was about the core skills, and definitely we identified customer service has a lot to do as a big core skill for this. Using like the reference interview technique to kind of gauge what the patron needs and wants, and also pertaining to the technology, we went not only like some have like say they sew at home and they kind of translate those skills to like the silhouette cameo, but also just the basic, just to be curious and the desire to just want to learn how to use the technology. So that was something we talked about for the first question. And then as far as assessing staff confidence, I know one of the members said, which I really like this, they do a pre-survey and then a post-survey and then a 3-month survey, because they do actually have a 3-month training program for their makerspaces. So that's really great to kind of see like their before and then during and later on. And then I was saying that I'm in a small space, so I don't necessarily have an office. So if I'm working, I could see someone in the back working on something and just kind of casually observing and just, hey, what are you working on? Like what does this do? Or just kind of like that conversationally. And then with the other kind of remainder of the discussion, just talked about having, new folks, whether it's new staff or new working with this technology, to work with more seasoned makers, to have them work together. And one member had mentioned like they'd have a practice project or to actually provide professional development opportunities. We all said the library makers is a great resource to have. I personally just learned about it when all this roundtable discussions came up. So this is great. I'm definitely going to share this all out. And then also using local maker interest groups, just to find out what they're working on or what kind of new techs going on. There's always something new out there. And then just, yeah, a big thing too, we just want to give the room to allow the staff to explore. So I heard that mentioned, like where we allow, like if we can, management can like allow like staff to be off desk to do like a webinar or go down to the big library to work on something and try out the tech there. And maybe it's not going to necessarily work at our space because we're small or whatever, but at least they'll have those skills they could add to their resume. And, maybe there's like a mini version of this thing because, technology is always evolving.
Thank you very much. All right. So now we're going to go into our round two. And for that, we can see the questions here, but our topics are room one is going to be access, equity, and inclusion in training. Room two will deal with recruiting and retention. And room three is going to be our resources, impact, and looking forward. So you can read through the questions a little bit, see what things we'll be talking about, and then we'll open up the rooms here in just a moment. But okay, looks like we got them open. So yeah, feel free to jump in any room that you want to discuss that topic, and we look forward to seeing you there.
All right. Has everyone come back from their rooms yet?
Think we got them all back.
Okay,
So
good. So I guess whoever wanted to speak for just kind of summarize what went on in room number one for us.
I can talk about it again.
yes,
Thank you, Marnie.
No problem. So we talked a little bit about like the need to see results quickly versus going through good training to support staff. And so sometimes we were like, even though we want to make sure this training is there and in place, we also need to make sure that it is accurate and takes the right amount of time. Considering different learning styles in staff, some librarians aren't necessarily taught how to teach, but they're taught how to be librarians. The mindset of what we mean by training that needs to be evaluated. So the ongoing process of honing a skill and the willingness to try and fill it. So being persistent and patient. When you're doing hiring, the willingness to learn is seen through the interview process. So it's like you need to learn how to do a thing. Like the open mindset's really important, and looking for folks in hiring with an education background because it's hard to teach the practice of teaching. And also considering literacy levels when trying to make sure that we're sharing barriers that could prevent staff or even patrons from learning.
thank you. For room two, do we have someone who would like to be our spokesperson and kind of mention what was discussed there? for recruiting?
Natasha Volin told me.
Okay.
So we talked about things like allowing staff to practice and bring their skills and really enjoying seeing collaboration with other age groups or departments, as well as among, like, if you have more than one makerspace within your library, not allowing silos between them. Um, as far as supporting learning, things like sharing project ideas, sending videos, trying to get everybody interested in library makers and getting involved there, as well as wanting staff, makerspace staff, to understand library services and how libraries work, and encouraging people to present on their skills and knowledge at workshops and things. Um, Yes, and as far as attracting and hiring new people, one person talked about how they have a mock scenario involved in their interview process to kind of help see some of how they might like introduce someone to the makerspace.
Very nice. For room three, would anyone like to say a little bit about what was discussed there? Uh,
I could do it. It's okay. We chatted briefly that it's hard for some of us, depending on the area, if we're a smaller library, to find places that have resources that are near us, even for sharing. Professional development can be harder depending on what area you're in. And if you have a smaller budget, some of us that have maker spaces, our staff aren't only dedicated to the makerspace. So finding time off desk or being able to send people and having physical constraints of public transportation is also challenging for some of us. We talked about low cost or partnership based. We partnered with a local township to have our makerspace as a location, as we didn't have space in our physical building, but that's not feasible for a lot of people. I think we all kind of did an overview that we struggle to find ways to necessarily effectively measure output of how people are and their confidence. Great customer service is certainly an indicator, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the staff or the patron helping people are actually comfortable. And then new competencies, we mentioned it might be nice if you have equipment or you are near someone as a retailer or a seller that would be able to give you actual hands-on guidance on how you could or should be using the piece of equipment you get from them, not necessarily just winging it by trial and error, and sometimes having to then figure out how to repair and replace things that went bad during your training endeavors.
Be great to have that hands-on. All right. So thank you all for sharing a little bit about what went on in the rooms. So next slide, if we could, please. So now that we all know these challenges, we want to invite you to participate a little bit, if you'd like to, in Library Makers. Share solutions there, or go ahead and talk about things that you're running into troubles with. Also, we'll have our final document up on Library Makers when we're finished with that. Outside of that, I know we had a whole series of these discussions. So if you want to, you can go back and see some of the previous ones if you weren't able to attend. Yep, thank you very much. Past that.
Just trying.
No, thank you. We'd like to continue the conversation. So after today, please do go on to Library Makers and join us. And we want to appreciate just everything you guys did to talk with us today. Thank you very much.
And really quickly before you leave, I did put some links. So if you want to be a solutions partner, it's in the chat. And if you have the time, just take a survey to let us know what you thought about today's event. The links are all in the chat. So yeah, sorry.
Can I just plug something too? We have had some interest from folks who are at college libraries, and I know being participating in a publication may be helpful for your position. that maybe you are required to publish every year. If you contribute and help us with this research, you will be listed as an author, co-author. And we invite you, especially those of you who may be at library makerspaces in colleges or universities who are interested in that, please reach out to us because we will include you. We'll give you some work to do, but then we will include you as an author, co-author of this publication, which will be made available nationwide. So it's a cool opportunity to contribute to this for our profession.
Thank you so much for that, Pam. All right,
Thank you.
without further ado, just take your time to fill out the surveys and check out all those links that we mentioned. And we will see you guys next time. Take care.
Thank you.